Okay, I've turned this on. Let me just stand here for a second and see if anybody comes on. Looks like I'm about a minute early. I have to make sure this thing's working. I'm not... Okay, there's somebody. Hey, June. So at least it's working and I have it aimed in the right direction. Unlike mine last night, where I had it completely facing the wrong direction. Whoa, honey baby sweet cake's there. Hey, honey. She's watching, logging on, so getting close to time. I'll see, move around in front of the camera in there in just a second. Okay. All right, so it's close enough to time. So welcome to another edition. I don't even know. Sarah's always my official timekeeper. She's the official show number keeper. She's the official this, and she's the official that. She is still under the weather. No, she doesn't have Ebola. I keep getting that question from all around the world. No, she's just a little under the weather. So tonight, I'm flying solo. It is back to Keeton in the kitchen. No S tonight. She'll be back next week for the biggest show ever. I can promise you that. Couple things different tonight. First of all, it's just me, so that's big time different. Hopefully I'm not cutting my head off either. That's a little tough sometimes. You'll notice I've switched to the long sleeve. I'm going to get this prepped and show you how to do this, and then I'm going to go outside, which is currently in the mid-50s and raining. So we're going to see how that goes. And we'll get through this together. I promise. We'll get through this together. Where have you heard that lately? I also have on shoes. I don't know if you can see those or not. Normally I don't wear shoes on this, but tonight, again, we're outside. So this is going to be the world's greatest fried rice. Now, I'm not just saying that. There's been probably 4 or 5 people, maybe 6, that have told me that. So that means it's official. That's a lot. Now, I will say this. I'll just go ahead and show this. I've got the old school shirt. This is official Keeton kitchen platter that I'm going to use. I painted this. I call it colored. Back in the day, if you can see, I didn't use a stencil. This is all freehand stuff here. So anyway, this is the official Keeton in the kitchen plate. Whenever I get this cut up here and I talk about this rice, I'm going to move this operation outside and we'll do the rest out there. Again, the wind's blowing. I'll try and speak up. Hopefully it doesn't blow the camera over. Hopefully it doesn't blow me over. Not with this base, I can tell you that much. But anyway, so we're going to do the world's greatest fried rice. This is so easy. It's crazy. Hopefully you made your rice last night or this morning. If you didn't, you can still make this recipe. It just doesn't come out with the right texture typically. Rice needs to set up and it needs to sort of stick together. It needs to soak up all that liquid and it needs to kind of get dry for this recipe to work. I have done it in the past with just cooking the rice and doing it. Again, the texture's not right in it. It still tastes fine, so if you don't care about the texture, make it right now, you'd be fine. Start you some rice. I used 4 cups of water and 2 cups of rice. Everything else is already outside, but I did want to do this part inside. I have here some chicken. About 96% of the time, I prefer to use skin-on chicken. This falls in that 4% of the time. You don't really want your rice showing a bunch of big chunks of skin that may or may not get crispy in your fried rice. So go ahead and skin that. These had the bone in them, so I deboned them. The key is here, there's a bone right there, speaking of which. The key with this is, you don't want this to be in big pieces. So you don't really want your rice to show a whole bunch of big chunks of chicken. It's fried rice. It should kind of all be happy together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this chicken, and I have roughly about a pound of chicken here. I'm going to come through here, and I'm going to cut it. I'm going to cut it into about 1/4-inch pieces. So if you're doing this at home and you're going along with me, if you've got pork, that works fine. If you've got shrimp, those work great as well. Just kind of cut this chicken up finely. You don't want these big pieces. The other reason being that the whole time this is cooking, your rice is cooking as well. So you want this chicken to get done nice and quick. So what I did was on these breasts, I'll show you here in just a second. Now, usually I talk about taking that knife away from your body with the first cut. And on vegetables, you typically want to do that just so you don't end up catching yourself with the knife. On these meats, this is pretty tough to do, so you kind of got to draw this knife back toward you with the first stroke of the knife. Now, these breasts anymore, chicken breasts, are basically like turkey. They are so thick that you just about can't do a single layer. And if you're going to grill these, if you're just going to slap these on there and put some barbecue sauce on them, still do this same thing. Lay this breast out flat, holding your hand. Again, kind of make this claw and hold this down, but go underneath your hand. You really want to take this breast and cut it in half, and then slice it from there. You can also butterfly that, and then you could chop that up from there. You could butterfly it and stuff it. You could butterfly it and grill it, but the chicken's too thick anymore. These breasts are, I mean, I guess it's good for the person who's buying it. You want to get all you can for your money, but they don't cook right. And what happens is the edges tend to cook before the center, which is always the case with thinner meat, and then the middle won't get done. So you end up burning the edges while you're waiting for the middle to get done. So draw this back toward you. Cut these into some nice 1/4-inch slices here. And this is give or take. Don't spend a lot of time with this. I know I get the questions a lot. I know that Sarah and I both had one from Clickster's wife, my buddy Clickster in Texas. His wife posted on the page and was kind of talking about learning and beginning and things like that. One of the keys to cooking and being happy with cooking, you don't have to love to cook. You're only going to cook 40,000 meals in your life. 3 a day times 365 days a year times 74 years on the average. Granted, you won't cook all those, but still. There's thousands of meals in there. You don't have to love it, but you can't hate it. If you hate it, you never get anywhere with it. So don't spend a lot of time worrying about the small things when it comes to cooking. Do what you can do, make it the best you can, and move on. So anyway, to all those people out there who are watching this and following along, don't spend a lot of time with this. Get them as small as you can. That's probably shaking that camera, but go back through it, give it a little chop. That's all I'm doing. So I'm going to wash my hands here real quick. Because we're going to go on to the second step. And if you have pork chops, do the same thing. Okay, so I've got that chicken cut up. I'm going to put it on the plate. I just washed my hands, seriously. Fall off the cutting board. Sometimes you have those kind of days where nothing comes off the cutting board. Go ahead and put that on your plate, like so. Do that, I'm going to set this aside. Now, we have our rice that I cooked yesterday. And if you watched that little audio segment yesterday, where I talked about cooking your rice ahead of time, I usually just leave it sitting out on the stove. Now again, I know that might not be the rule for the people that worry about bacteria and germs and viruses and protozoans and fungi and all that, but I did put this in the fridge last night, so if you did, it's going to come out of your pan looking something like this. That you could put this into your skillet or onto your flat top just like this, and then break it up with your spatula. Works just fine. If you want to do it that way, follow along and do it that way. I like to go ahead and break this up as much as I can at this stage in this bowl, because it saves me a lot of time and I end up with a lot less clumps. Doing this rice this way will make this clump up because it all wants to stick together, which is, again, it's soaking up all the liquid and then the starches in it sticking together, which makes the most incredible fried rice, but it also makes it want to stick together. So break them apart as much as you can. Again, this is just saving you a little time in the next 20 minutes. If If you want to just slap it in there, do it. I'm going to do this on the flat top outside. This is going to work the same whether you're doing this in a skillet, on a flat top. Back in the day when I was crazy, I've even put a pan over top of my burners. If you've got like a baking pan, put it over top of your burners. You just made you a flat top. So more than one way to skin a cat. That's an old adage, by the way. I don't know if that's still politically correct to say or not. But anyway, so we broke this rice up. Now, I'm going to wash my hands, and I'm going to attempt to move this whole operation outside where we're going to make this all happen. You're going to see how quick this comes together. So, me being me, I'm going to try and take this all out. At one time, I just broke that rice apart, and now I'm slapping it all back together with this pan. So just hold on with me. We're going outside. And we'll see if we can get this operation set up out there. It'll be a little bit of a wobbly ride. You'll get to see Sarah's garden. A little hard to shut the door. Oh, shit. Okay. Walking out, Sarah's beautiful garden. Her flowers. Got the flat top. Not as easy to carry all this stuff. So I'm going to set this down. Hopefully, this does not get blown over and you can see me. So I've got the flat top here. Throw that on the ground. Okay, so I've got this going. I'm going to let this heat up. That's where I cleaned it last time. Got to find something to do with my chicken. Now, I'm going to stand here for 1 second. Somebody that's watching reply that you can see this and see the top of my head, and I'm going to come around and look while this is heating up for 1 second. So can you see the top of my head, and can you see this surface? See Michael. Okay. All right. Well, hopefully that's a go. Typically on fried rice, all you really want to use is butter. Now on this flat top, and you can do this in your skillet as well, go ahead and hit this with just a little oil. This is just a little olive oil. To go ahead and give this a surface for when you pour this down. You don't want it all to initially stick right to your skillet. So, I did not cut up my onion. I told you Sarah's the one that keeps us all together. So, anyway, I've got my trusty pocket knife because I'm not going to go back inside. I'm going to take this onion with the one pocket knife that I have on me, with the blade, the other blade's broken, that's the blade that I got. We're going to do this with this, just showing you that don't stress over your cooking. At any point in time something could happen. You could be peeling and cutting up an onion with a pocket knife. So if you got your skillet, turn your skillet on about medium-high right now. Same thing, I got this flat top on. Cutting up my onion. Now, what I want to do, I've got my oil down. I want to go ahead, drop on this chicken. Probably not quite hot enough yet. Let's see. Somewhere I've got a spatula. Okay. You can see it's not quite cooking just yet, so it's still warming up. And out here with this wind and this rain, I've got this on high. I've got some butter. Now this steak, to have proper fried rice, you need a better part of a stick of butter. So I'm going to start with about 2 tablespoons. If you're doing this in a skillet and you have a lot of rice, do this in batches. So put half your chicken in, half your rice, half your butter to get that started. So I've got my butter on there. Got my knife here. Peas and carrots. Use the frozen ones. It makes this recipe go a lot faster. Canned are going to be too mushy. You can find fresh carrots. You can chop those up. Most people don't have fresh peas. So use these frozen ones. They're great in this. Got my rice. I've got my butter. Now again, this is not quite super hot just yet because this wind's gusting. But I want a good coating of butter And then I'll leave that last dollop of butter, and I'm going to put this rice right in the middle of it. So get all your rice out of there that you can. Spread your rice around a little bit. Again, you can use a spatula to do this. You don't have to use your bare hands like me. Low budget operation is what this is. So, I spread that around. Get my trusty pocket knife. Now, if you're out, you're camping, you're on the back 40, whatever you're doing, and you do have to resort to cutting up an onion with a blade that's literally 1 inch long, bring this knife towards you, being really careful, of course, and cut through the top of it, leaving the bottom of it still attached. Turn this onion around, do the same thing, going the other way, and then simply go around it. I hope you can see this. I'll put a little bit of this. I don't really want to put it on my rice because it needs to cook too, but make sure everything has its own little place. Push a little hole in it. Make sure you eat your chicken or your pork or your shrimp. There is a question, if you're using shrimp, you probably could wait just a little bit before you put it on. Overcooked shrimp's not very good. Typically, shrimp fried rice is always overcooked. So if you want the authentic style, overcook it. That way you'd be authentic. Put this onion down where it can touch. Kind of go back around through it a little bit. All I'm doing is roughly chopping this, so hopefully you're in the kitchen. Maybe you're outside and you already did this. Just chop it into smaller pieces. This is not a really, really big portion, so not big portion. This is not a big key. It is a big portion. It's a whole onion. What am I talking about? So what you can do, just make sure you don't end up with any too big of pieces. Chop it like this, and then just keep chopping it like this. So that's how I do the onions. And I'm stuck outside with nothing but a pocket knife. I want it in smaller pieces, so any of the bigger pieces that fell here, I'll just pick them up and chop this. So, my rice is going. My chicken's going. My onions are now going. Now, I need to put some eggs on here. You really need the eggs on here to get this done right. Let me go ahead, before I do that, peas and carrots. This is going to be about a half a bag. I don't want them all in there because I don't want it to be peas and carrots rice. So, you got your egg. I have not done fried rice in a long time. I was an exchange student in Japan. So keep that as a harbinger of things that might come up in another couple of episodes too. We got a big episode coming for you next week, but that egg's already busted. What? Stealing my thunder. So I haven't done this in a long time, but if you go to the sushi places, especially at the hibachi grill, you'll do this and then they'll fling it up and they'll cut it on the side of this. So let's see if I can just do one of those first before I try flinging it multiple times. Kind of worked. So make sure you've got a little opening in your skillet or on your flat top where you're putting these eggs. It's been a while. Okay, so I put 3 eggs on here. Oh, that was terrible. I need a little more practice. Back to the old days when I used to make this a lot. Now, your chicken should be coming along. This is starting to come along pretty good. Your rice is coming along. You want these eggs to be separate. You don't want this to be all gummy, so you need to cook the eggs in their own little area away from everything else and cook them until they're done before you chop them up and mix them in. So, I'm going to break up this meat, kind of turn it over a little bit. I'm going to start turning over my hopefully. This rice is starting to take on a little bit of color. What I'm going to do now is I have soy sauce. I'm going to hit this with some soy sauce. At this point, don't worry about the amount of this. That's probably 4 teaspoons. I also have a little bit of this soba sauce. This is a noodle sauce. Soba tsuyu. Soba tsuyu. That's just fun to say. I'm going to add a little of this. Again, a couple more teaspoons, a couple tablespoons. Pour that right over your rice. When your rice is cooked here for a minute or two, go ahead and make you another hole in it, because you'll start to see it's soaking up the butter. And it's already soaked up what oil was on this. Go ahead and add about another tablespoon to it. Keep in mind, good fried rice has lots of butter. When you go to the sushi place and they come out with that volcano of butter, they know what they're doing. So put you about another tablespoon in the middle of your rice. Keep tossing this chicken because you want all this to kind of come ready at the same time. Now, I'll come and get the camera here in just a second, and I'll show you these eggs. They're not fully cooked yet, so I'm not mixing them in. That's something all over my hand. I'm telling what I touched, but... So here it is. Here's the eggs coming along. You got your vegetables. Now, right now, I've kept all this separate. Because again, the chicken, I don't want cooking with the rice. I want it to get done on its own and then I'll mix it. I want those eggs to get done because they will make that rice too gummy. I've got my vegetables in the back. So I'll set this down. Hopefully everybody, let me see if I can tilt this down a little bit. Maybe everybody won't be able to see the top of my head, but you'll be able to see the flat top, so that's all that matters. I picked this flat top up for 99 bucks. I did an article on this in the News Democrat 6 months ago, 5 months ago. You could probably still find it on their website. It talks about the goods and the bads, the pros and the cons of a flat top. Really, there's a place in your cooking arsenal for one of these. Again, I found this one on sale at Walmart for 99 bucks. You know, you can find them, especially late in the year. Usually they're kind of clearing them out. Look around for one because, again, there is a place for this in your cooking arsenal. Get your chicken turned over. Keep turning it over. If it's kind of clumped together like mine is a little bit, break it up with your spatula. You want it to be fully cooked. Now, if you could see my eggs here, I'm going to show you these. They're still, the yellows are not broken in these eggs yet. That's fine. I don't want scrambled eggs here. I want these to cook, and then I'm going to break them up myself. So I'll turn those over. I'll put those on the grill. I'm going to go ahead and mix in these vegetables. And all it is onions and carrots and peas. Now, normally when I'm making this, by now I've called this fried lice. Don't ask me why. It's something that is in my brain. I have not yet referred to this as fried lice, so that's a good thing. Keep tossing this, you don't want it to burn on the bottom. If your rice burns, the whole thing is going to taste like rice. Turn your chicken over here a little bit. You're going to see how easy this is. You're going to think, there's got to be more into the world's greatest fried rice than this, but there's not. So my eggs now, I'm going to go ahead and kind of chop these up. I have a little cutter here somewhere. If you're doing this in the house in a skillet, use a knife, use the back of a spatula, whatever you have around there. Again, don't stress over the details of all these minute little things. I mean, I know I kind of harp on that a lot, and I used to back in the cooking classes as well. The reason why people don't cook is A, they get overwhelmed, or B, they think that they have to spend so much time on the little things. That's not really what this is all about. This is a quick recipe that's absolutely delicious and as good as anything you can find in a restaurant. So, I've got this egg chopped up. Put that right there. I'm going to go ahead and put my eggs over the level. My chicken's just about done. It's got a little bit of pink in it. Just about done. I'm going to go ahead and toss this rice because, again, the bottom's kind of getting where it's sticking out a little bit. It's not sticking out like sticking to the thing, sticking out to the thing. You'll notice it's a little dry. I'll probably go ahead and put one more dollop of butter in here because good fried rice has lots of butter. Always remember that. Cover that up a little bit. My chicken's cooked now. I'm going to go ahead and incorporate it. Now here's the key to good fried rice. What you want to do when you get this to this point, you're incorporating everything. Flatten this out so that it can all get good color on it. My butter, I see that in there a little bit. Go ahead and flatten this rice out on here, on your skillet, on your pan that you converted into a flat top, just like the old days. Get it out of my little drain right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit it. What I could do, I don't think it has enough. I could taste this right now and do a little taste test and see if it needed more soy, but I can tell you it does. If you want to pull a little out of your skillet, taste it. I'm going to hit it with a little bit more of this noodle sauce. Not necessary, but adds a little more flavor. Now while this is doing this, up until now, Sarah and I have kind of given some tips. Big stuff are coming, big things are coming, all of that. I can tell you this. Next Wednesday, we're going to do a Memorial Day special. We're going to do some incredible burgers. We're going to do Sarah's loaded baked potato salad. It will be the biggest hit you've ever had at a Memorial Day dinner, Memorial Day cookout, whatever. We're also going to do our broccoli salad. You're going to love that. The dressing is so simple for that. So what I'm doing is I'm just kind of tossing this around. I'm keeping it kind of flattened out. I'm going to show you. This is steaming pretty bad, but I'll show you the difference. On this far side of this flat top, I haven't tossed that yet. So you notice the difference in color between that and this. That is what this on this lower side here that has more color to it's what we're really looking for. So we want to just kind of toss that and keep it flat. Again, do this in your skillet. Just keep tossing this. Now what I'll do, after I fling it all down the front of me, not before. Sometimes you're the rice and sometimes you're the guy wearing it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to toss this around a little bit more. This is almost done. I use this for chopping up those eggs. Could use my knife blade, but I've already used it for an onion. I want to go ahead and give this a little shot. See if the seasoning's right in it. More soy. Needs more soy. Now I think we said in the ingredients about 1/4 of a cup. It probably takes that. If you're making a big batch like this, it may take even a little bit more than that. Pour some on there, toss it around so that it all gets incorporated. A lot of times we eat this just as a meal. If you have a little chicken on the barbecue or even burgers or anything, it makes the most incredible side dish. Keep fanning it back out. You don't want it too moist. Now, good tip. If you didn't have a chance to make your rice ahead of time, you could keep doing this stage right here over and over and over until all the liquid's gone. Again, the texture to me is always a little bit off if you do that, but the whole key is get all of that moisture out of it. So, tossing this around here a little bit. This is basically done. That's how quickly you made literally the world's greatest fried rice. It's absolutely delicious. Tune in next week for a huge week. I'm sure this is ready. I always taste it just to make sure. I got my fancy little taster here just to let you know that this is where we need it. good. So easy. It's extremely hot right now. So good, so easy. You can make this on a weeknight. If I had done this, which I did the rice last night, I came out here tonight or in the skillet, this is a 20-minute meal. Your family's going to love it. It's filling. It's delicious. I'm going to turn all this off, plate this up, and take it back in so our little curtain climbers can have some dinner. Hopefully everybody learned a little something from this and make this quick and easy fried rice, and I hope you enjoyed it.